Hello everybody, welcome. So I'd like to start this conversation with a clearing and just a check-in, just checking in how we're feeling right now, how we're feeling today. I will start, and I'm so looking forward for you to write down here on the comments how you're feeling. So let's talk about body sensations, just body sensations. Let's remove the story from the body sensations, meaning try not to give it a meaning. Just tell me your body sensations. So for me, my body sensations are, I feel tension in my jaw. I feel like squeezing my jaw. I feel a lot of tension there. I feel lack of energy, tiredness. I'm scanning. Let's imagine that we're passing through a scanner and we're writing down whatever sensation we're feeling. So I am giving you the example. I'm starting with my own sensations, but write down here your sensations. I am feeling particularly my lower jaw feels so tense that it's like about to break my teeth. I actually broke a tooth a couple of days ago. A tooth. I am feeling tiredness on my forehead and my eyes. So there are three sensations there. My jaw, my general tiredness, and the tiredness in my eyes. Like, like when you feel like you just have to have them closed or looking somewhere else. Those are my body sensations right now. Now, I told you to remove any story from them, right? We don't want to have any story attached to them, to the sensations right now. We just want to recognize the sensations, how they feel. So let's take a deep breath into these sensations and let's welcome them. Let's not fight them. How different is that? Instead of fighting them and saying, hey, I need to relax. Yeah, I want to be relaxed. I'm relaxing. Relax, 1, 2, 3. No, we just want to ease into these sensations. Welcome them. They exist, they have a place, they have a reason, and they make sense. Our body knows that they make sense. So taking a deep breath and welcoming these sensations. Let's focus on just one of these sensations, okay? Choose the one sensation that feels the most alive. In my case, it is the tension in my jaw. What is your sensation that feels the most alive? I wish you could write it down. I don't know if you're writing it down and I can see the comments or if you haven't written. So if you can share, it would be beautiful. So just focus on the one sensation that feels more relevant right now. Okay? I want you to take a deep breath and feel that sensation fully. Like you're going to give all your attention to that sensation. You're going to be present in that sensation. It might intensify it, right? It might grow bigger and more present. And in the case of my jaw, it feels more tense. It feels just like it's tensing up. I'm giving attention to that. So whatever we give attention to grows. So give attention to it. Don't be afraid. It's okay. You can just give attention to your body. It knows how to regulate itself. So give attention to the sensation that is making you uncomfortable and breathe into it. Breathing into it means that we pay attention, breathe, focusing in the inhale on that part of the body. And when we exhale, I want you to exhale from that part of the body. Just an exhale right now. So breathe into my jaw. I am breathing into my jaw. Can you hear how it cracks? It just goes and pays attention through the breath and exhales. And now with your next breathing, I want you to amplify whatever is happening there, and then as you exhale, you are going to make a sound. You are going to make a sound coming from whatever part of your body is calling for your attention. Okay, and you're going to move it. It might be less of a sound and more of a movement, or it might be both a movement and a sound. So movement and sound. Maybe if it is your arms, you will just need to shake them. Maybe if it is your neck, you will just need to move it and sound it. How does it sound? Maybe like a wild animalistic sound. Maybe like a cry. Maybe like a sound of frustration. So just let the sound come. Whatever sound and movement that come are welcome. So, where is it? Is it your neck that is tense? Is it your arms, your legs? Just focus on them. Inhale on that part of your body that is tense, and in the exhale, move it and sound it. Make a sound, fake the sound if you need to fake it. You know, you might be shy to sound it, dare to sound it. Even if you need to just hold a pillow because you have people around you, just sound it and you sound. In my case, I need to bite something, you know. When I feel this tension in my jaw, I usually need to bite. And when I bite, if your jaw gets tense the way mine does, you don't want to bite with your teeth. You want to bite with your molars. Hola, Nina! So you want to bite with the deepest part of your mouth, with your molars, because you don't want to hurt your teeth. So you're going to bite. That helps you relax your jaw. That's because it is my jaw. I know how to relax my jaw. But if it's your neck, you can do the same thing with your neck. Just move it and sound it. So again, I will do this biting because it's the tension is in my jaw. Biting with your molars always. So how does it feel? My jaw feels more relaxed. So much more relaxed. It doesn't hurt. And it doesn't crack. If you were here earlier, you remember that it was cracking. So if you notice, it's not cracking anymore. Yeah, so why was this important? If you are doing this with your neck or with your arms, after sounding it and shaking them and moving them and maybe just punching the air, you will realize that they are relaxed. Why is it important? Because our emotions are stuck in our bodies. Our emotions, any emotion, particularly powerful emotions, are stuck in our bodies. We might feel relaxed. We might feel like it's under control. I can just Netflix and chill. But the truth is that your body is holding stress. And you know it. I mean, I have been getting a lot of messages about this. Like people who is having difficulty sleeping, people who is waking up with their teeth hurting, people who is waking up very tired because they were unable to sleep. That's because our bodies hold the stress. Now, how can we help our bodies process these emotions. What I just shared with you, it's a practice that it's very simple, yet it's super powerful. First, let's summarize what we just did. First, we name it. Whatever we have, we name it, because there is power in naming stuff, because we bring it from the depth of our primitive brain to our cortical brain. We create that connection. So we name it. We scan our body and we name the sensations that are dwelling there. My feet are cold, or my toes are, tense, or whatever sensations you're having, you name them out loud. Second, you breathe into one sensation at a time, right? Like you cannot do them all at the same time. So you go one after the other. You name one of the sensations, particularly the one that feels more alive, and you breathe into, "Ay, Lupita, Guada, how nice to see you, Brenda." So you breathe into the sensation. Okay? You allow the sensation to exist without judgment, without trying to get distracted. No, you allow it to be. It's welcome. It's okay that you're feeling that way. It makes sense. It freaking makes sense that you're feeling this way. So you name it, you welcome it, you feel it deeply, and you breathe through it. And then you allow your body to move and sound it in whatever way it's needing to. Maybe it needs to dance. Maybe it needs to run. Sometimes it needs to punch the air or a pillow. Sometimes it needs to bite. Sometimes it needs to scream, to cry. Whatever you do to feel your bodily sensations, make sure that you do it opening your mouth. Even when I beat the pillow, I made sure that in between I opened my mouth so that I didn't accumulate the tension, but that I relaxed. Okay, so open your mouth to exhale, open your mouth to bring out the sound, open the mouth to allow the flow. Why is it important now that you have all the steps? Because we are connected as primitive beings to react to stress. Whatever we perceive as a danger, that we call now a stressor, creates a primitive reaction, a primitive response. And these primitive responses are our survival mechanisms. Our survival mechanisms are okay to exist. Thankfully, they exist. Otherwise, we wouldn't have made it as a species. Our survival mechanisms are fight, flight, freeze, and most recently, especially with complex PTSD, fawn, okay, like pleasing others. But particularly the first three, the most primitive ones, fight, flight, and freeze, are mechanisms that are calling for a response in our body. Meaning, I feel stress. As a primitive being, maybe I'm feeling that stress because there is a freaking predator running behind me, so my survival mechanism kicks in, meaning I have to run for my life, right? And after I ran for my life, I could relax after I found safety. So my cortical hit in, giving me, my cortical and my adrenaline hit in, giving me the cue to run for my life. And I ran, and I screamed, asking for help, calling the attention of others. Because there was a predator behind me, so run, and you ran. But now we don't do that anymore. We feel a stressor and we just collapse. We, especially in a moment like this, in which we are asked to actually stay still. What is the freeze? What is the I am giving you the answer. What is the response that makes us be still? It's the freeze response. The freeze response tells you, okay, I better just give up. There's no case in fighting. I will just play dead. And that freeze response, it's the one that is being triggered right now the most with this lockdown. And what happens when we're in freeze response? Yeah, we can Netflix and chill easily, but we also tend to feel defeated. We tend to feel like there's no sense in trying, like we could just die, like there's no future, there's nothing to look for. We can just lay here and play dead. That's where so many of us are at right now. That's the way in which this is affecting us right now. We are like having a very generalized freeze response as a species. We are playing dead. Another response that is becoming very common right now, it's the fight response, which is fighting back either the government. Yeah, I'm opposing the government. They are taking away my freedom. Or fighting with our partner, or fighting with our children, or fighting with, the teachers of the school of my child who are not good because they are giving them homework. How dare they? So we are fighting as a response, but we are fighting like the wrong adversary here. But that's a natural response that we are dealing with. And all of this because our flight response, which makes us move, is being withheld. So how can we process the stress in our bodies in a way that is healthy and that keeps us moving and that keeps us going and that keeps us healthy? Because again, these responses are healthy mechanisms. So we know that we don't want to fight our partners, our relatives, or our children, or each other, right? We know that we need kindness now more than ever. So fighting should be kind of out of the question. Flying is out of the question. We cannot go out right now. And freezing puts us in danger of feeling depressed. So the response lies in our body. What we just did at the beginning, facing, feeling, loving the sensations that come through our body, even if that sensation is tiredness. The tiredness that I described at first is part of the freeze mechanism. I feel tired. I can feel through my tiredness, and I can breathe through my tiredness, and I can allow my tiredness to exist. I can welcome it until it starts moving back. I want you to imagine what happens with a gazelle. Imagine this image: a gazelle being chased by a lion, and the lion held the gazelle, and then something happened that the gazelle was released because of whatever. The lion got scared because there was a hunter shooting nearby or whatever happens, and the lion released the gazelle. And the gazelle plays dead. It's stuck for a moment. It's stuck. It's her freeze mechanism, right? And then after a couple of minutes, she starts shaking. She starts shaking badly. And then she comes back into her senses and she runs away. That's where we need to get to, the point of shaking. She went through freeze mode. She first ran away. Then she got caught. She froze. But then she started shaking in order to come back to life. It was a sense of, hey, I can't survive this. I need to shake this off my body. And as she shook this sensation through her body, she found the connection back to aliveness in her body. That's what we just did, like very, very, in a very simple way. But that's what I want to help you guide and to guide you through, because I have seen the results of that. We can move the freeze, the fear, the panic, the stress through our bodies in a healthy way that feels respectful, towards the sensations, towards the instincts that we're dealing with, and that feels empowering towards our body and its wisdom. Because our body knows. Our body knows if it needs to yell some more, if it needs to bite some more, if it needs to scream, if it needs to cry, if it needs to whatever. Our body knows. So, one way to do this is, of course, to shake, to cry, to scream, to breathe through it. But it gets even more powerful when we connect it to our survival instinct, our survival energy that lies deep in our sexual energy. And that's interesting. You know that every time after a great danger, after a war, after a famine, after great world catastrophes, people have the impulse to have sex. That has been recorded. Like, you know, the baby boomers, the generation that was born right after the war, because they were born because after the war people needed to have sex. People needed not just to repopulate the earth as they tell us, but to bring back this connection to aliveness that sexuality has. Sexuality is actually life force. Sexual energy is life energy, is life force. So we are not just going to shake through our emotions, we are going to connect to our sexual energy in order to reconnect to our source of strength, of power, of hope, of life. So I hope that this is making sense to you. I think that this makes even more sense once you experience it. Once you feel how liberating it is to dance it, to scream it, to yell it, to bite it. And then how empowering it is to connect to our sexuality afterwards, or to connect to our sexuality and then let it move through us. These practices are part of what I want to share with you in a more private space. I want to create a circle, a coaching circle. I don't know the name of it because I was thinking of just sharing this with women, but I am thinking that some men might benefit from it as well. So I am creating these circles where we can share these processes, where I can teach you these breathing practices, these movement practices, these cathartic practices, in order for you to deal with these sensations that are being accumulated in your body in a healthy way. But also, I am starting something already this Friday that it's created just for women, and that has the purpose of connecting to this source of energy that is our sexual energy, and use it to help us find safety in our bodies, because that is the one point that matters the most. All of this that we just did, all of this breathing through our body sensations, all of this moving our sensations through our body, welcoming them, sounding them, feeling them, and allowing them to move the way they need to move, are there in order to help us create a sense of safety in our body, especially in the moment where we don't have safety outside. We need to have safety inside, and especially in this moment and always, it's like we know that we live in an unsafe world, especially if you're a woman. You might know this particularly well, as I do. And we need to create safety in our bodies constantly, because nobody else is going to give us that sense of safety. If we don't create it, if we don't reclaim it, if we don't work on it, nobody's going to give it to us. So this process of letting our stress move through us, connecting to our sensations, and flowing through them, have the purpose of creating a sense of safety in our body, and as a response in our surroundings. So this Friday I am starting a program where I am teaching women how to do just that, how to connect to the safety that our womb has for us, how to create to the safety that our sexual energy has for us, how to love these parts of us, how to heal these parts of us, how to embrace and embody these parts of us. It's a JDEC practice, yes, but we can do this with or without the JDEC. This goes beyond the JDEC. And the best part of this is that I am offering it as a service, meaning the program is donation based. You can pay whatever you are able to afford, and the idea is to be able to have connection with others, to have with other aligned-minded sisters, to have playfulness, movement, to have a sense of mindfulness and awareness of what's going on inside of our body, and therefore to create something to look for weekly for weeks, and to create safety in our bodies and in our surroundings. I'm going to leave the link for that program down below, and you are so encouraged to join if you're a woman, to play with us and to connect to the beauty of your life force, of your source of power and energy, while you play and connect with other women. I really hope that this was useful for you. Leave me a message telling me what you found to be the most useful, what you're taking away from this conversation, and subscribe to the program. You will find that it's a very playful and delightful way to create safety. See you soon.